Sam Davidson for the Nashville Entrepreneurial Center, doing the types of things that if we didn't run this business, I could imagine we could do that type of role ourselves in coming alongside people to say, here are all the things that we have messed up and learned the hard way.
Gosh, don't you feel like we kind of already do, though, when you think about the events we throw and the consulting that we do? I know every big event we've been to, I brought it up on the podcast, but my heart for marriage and relationships and how we kind of put ourselves out there. Every time we do a big event, we speak on that because we want people to know, hey, just because our name's on the door or on the event does not mean we have been successful at every single thing. It's just been willing to make mistakes and come back from it.
Yeah, that's right. And probably this podcast too is that we want to have people come away to see more authentically. Like there are times where all of our guests tell of failures and struggles and hardship, and it's breaking that facade of social media that is presenting just the best possible scenario in the perfect light, because that's just not real life in social and business and any setting. Sure. That's just not authentic.
Well, I mean, I think even if you look at the evolution of what we have done on this podcast over the last several months, I mean, where we started was great, but I think we've built and built and built to hone our message and what we want this to be for our listeners. But we believe in the stories that we're putting out and that people deserve to have the content. Tennesseans deserve to know about the warriors of their state. And I feel like that's what the EC is doing, is they're being the warriors and the champion and sharing the stories for these entrepreneurs so that they don't feel alone, that they can make calculated risk decisions and have faith and confidence that even if it doesn't work the way they want it to, that they took the path that they were supposed to take.
Mm-hmm. I think entrepreneurship is also becoming a pathway of an alternative for people that are struggling with rising cost of living, the challenge of what they make versus what they need to make to provide for their family. And they kind of look around and say, I have to do something else. And out of that place, some decisions will forever change their life for the positive. To say when you have to, when you must, a lot of times you do. But in some cases, those are where some of the worst decisions get made. And you rush, you suspend logic, and ride on 100% emotion. And I think the EC is doing a good job to say, here is a format that our job isn't to tell you yes or no, but it is to say, when you finish with our program, whether it's the 1-week program or the 12-week program, you should know more of what you're signing up for and at least have the building blocks for how to be successful through 4 really clear failure points that capture a lot of entrepreneurs along the way.
But no matter how much data you have, you still have to jump and expect that parachute of all of your preparation and your hard work is going to bring you to a soft landing. And it's unbelievably scary no matter how much faith you have in your product, in yourselves. One thing that I think was a huge shift for me being raised in a more corporate environment, internships and following the path. And I worked for some really cool companies and I loved doing that and I believed in what they did. When you and I got started, I had this subtle mental shift that I realized for me, above all, I put my faith in the Lord and that He has a plan for our life. And that really, if you look at it, nothing is within our control, honestly, right? But if you take it back a layer even from that, working in the job I thought I was supposed to, I felt like I was putting my trust and my faith almost as a God in the company that I was serving. And I had this moment where I realized whatever happens, whether we make it, we don't make it, whether we make payroll that week or our grocery, we have to tighten really tight and we don't get to get the things we think we need. I trust you and I, by the grace of God, to work our tails off more than I trust someone else to pay us for what we're worth. And that was the shift. And if we woke up tomorrow and everything we had worked on for the last decade and a half wasn't there, I would trust that we could do it again more than I would trust that somebody would take care of us or hand it to us. And that's the shift that happened in my heart and in my mind that made that risk calculation worth it.